Wow. I like it.
Self-awareness, the superpower that we have, but most often forgotten. I remember when I was 15, my teacher asked me this question that I have never asked myself. How well do you know yourself? At that moment, I realized I know nothing about myself. Of course that I know my name and how I look, but who am I? What do I want? Who do I want myself to be? I have zero answers to those questions. But my teacher, he only smiled, looked at me and said, the one and only person who understands yourself the most, nobody else but yourself. It is your responsibility to understand yourself, because if you don't, who will? And he told me how deeply you understand yourself determines your whole life. It determines your career, it determines your relationships, it even determines how happy you are. It is one of the most important skills, but most people forget about. The skill of self-awareness. So, what is self-awareness? I use the definition of self-awareness to be the ability to understand yourself deep down to your heart. Meaning, you know and understand your personality, your feeling, what you want and why you want it, and so on. It is the ability to clearly see yourself inside. Now, to look on the outside, all you need is a mirror, a big, beautiful mirror hanging on the wall. But to look inside, to look at your strength, your weaknesses, your feelings, your thinking, your fear, and the reason why you are here on this planet. To look inside, what you need is self-awareness. But the challenge is that most people are not self-aware. In 2018, Harvard Business Review cited research saying that only about 10 to 15% of people are actually self-aware. Most people live their life on autopilot. They don't stop and question themselves like, who am I? What kind of person do I want to be? What am I holding on to that I need to let go? What do I need to change about myself? Because you see, self-awareness is also about communicating with yourself. But how do you get to know and understand other people? We ask questions, we listen, we communicate. When was the last time you communicate with yourself? Because you see, in order to understand ourselves, we need moments of silence to listen, to communicate, and to understand. Most of the time, we don't question ourselves enough. We don't listen enough. And we don't understand enough. That's why sometimes in life, we feel stuck, we confuse, and we run around in circles just to get back to the same place. It takes self-awareness to realize what's going on inside. It sounds simple, but not that easy. But the good news is, self-awareness is a skill that can be learned. If you want to be more self-aware, you can. You just need to know how. So today, I cannot tell you who you are. Only you can tell. But what I can do is tell you about 3 ways that you can use in order to raise your self-awareness to the next level. The first way is to list yourself. Most of the time, when I ask people, tell me something about yourself. Sound familiar? They will say something like, I have nothing to say about myself. all they're saying is, I don't know me. I encourage you to list yourself. You write everything about your personality, about what you do good, what you do not really good, your strengths, your weaknesses, what do you like, what you don't like. For example, on my list it would be, I am a cat person. It means I like dogs, but I want to have a cat. I am a Sagittarius, if you care about that. I like traveling, shooting pictures, and speaking, especially speaking. I want to help people to be themselves on the stage. I have too much energy. It's about drive, it's about power. And sometimes I sleep with my mouth open. My favorite song? Taylor Swift, Shake It Off. And the list goes on. Aristotle once said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And once you begin to list yourself, you can start to know yourself all over again. And that is the first way to be more self-aware. Once you have done that, the second way to be more self-aware, to look at yourself from a different angle, is by asking for feedback. A big thing about learning to be self-aware is being open to feedback from people who love you, who care about you, who's willing to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Because as human beings, we all have our own blind spots, places that we cannot see for ourselves. But to other people, they can clearly see it and they can point it out for you. But the thing is, you have to ask for it. And the key to asking for feedback is you have to be clear. You have to know exactly what you are asking feedback on. The reason is, if you don't take any feedback at all, it would be difficult to improve. On the other hand, if you take in everything from everybody, give me everything, you would be paralyzed because there are so many people are telling you to go in different directions. And here's something I know about feedback. Feedback could be very intensive to take because you are exposing yourself to different critical opinions. And maybe after this talk, my friends would come up to me and say like, hey, damn, Daniel, what you talking about? That's also a kind of feedback. The point is, you have to be mentally ready to receive any kind of feedback. That is the second way to see yourself from a different angle. The third way that I would recommend is to take the questionnaire. 35 questions that Marcel believed that if you answer this, you may discover your true nature. And here are the 3 of my favorite. Number 1, what makes you happy? Number 2, what do you like to do? What is your hobby? And finally, number 3, what is your biggest fear? I did this one time when I was 15, and recently I have the chance to do it again. Shall we compare the result? When I was 15, to me, gaming is life. I play game every day. My mom would complain to me, Daniel, you stick your eyes to your screen to the whole day. I know that, Mom. Thank you for that. But now, I discover that what makes me really happy is collaboration, working with people to create something that's even bigger than myself. That's where I find my happiness. The second thing, I thought that the only thing I can do is playing video games for a whole day. But as time goes, I discover that I have many different hobbies. Music, Taylor Swift, reading about business, and especially speaking. I find that I am at my best when I'm on the stage speaking. And finally, my biggest fear. Back then, I was so afraid of being judged. But now, I realize what I'm really afraid of is I cannot being myself. There's so many more questions that you can take. They are waiting for you when you search for it. There you have it, 3 simple ways on how to be more self-aware. The thing about self-awareness is, it is not something you do for a day or two. To learn, to know, and to understand about yourself is a lifelong journey. Make it a habit. Never stop discovering about yourself. And one last thing that I want to give you, it is, nobody would understand you unless you do. The greatest gift that you can ever give yourself is your own understanding. And once you understand yourself, you will be unstoppable. Why? Because self-awareness is your superpower. Thank you very much.